What's up, guys? This is Frank on behalf of Reverb.com here at GuitCon 2017, and I have the great pleasure to hang out a little bit with Robert Keeley, the mastermind behind Keeley Electronics.
That's right.
And we're going to talk a little bit about pedals.
Pedals.
So, Robert, the other day on that panel discussion that was going on, it was very obvious that we are right now in like a golden era of pedals. There's more pedals out there than ever. And especially on Reverb, you'll find a lot of like old and vintage pedals. Now today, we get way better components. They're way more consistent. They last longer and all that. So from a like rational standpoint, why are people still watching out for like these old, like a big muff or an old analog delay or something that might break any time on stage? Because you know, back then it was different.
I think a lot of it has to do with character. A lot of these pedals, if they were manufacturing, and Mike Matthews, in the case of a big muff, didn't have 10Ks, but he had 12Ks. It was like, that's what we're building with today, folks. And if he didn't have the right capacitor for the tone network, he was like, take that one from over there. We got a full bin of those, and why don't you make them? So you get this great variation in older units. Not only because of the tolerances, then in some cases it's very legitimate differences in the sound of components today versus then. The transistors had lower gain back then. Even silicon transistors had a lot lower gain. I think that they had a lot of capacitance that made them sound smoother. So in a lot of cases like that, you do get better, warmer sounds. And you get this nice roll off, or you get some nice fat bass sound, and you get differences like, oh, I had this one that sounded great, and it was different, you know. And same thing for a lot of older parts like that. It just kind of sounds right to the ear in some cases, you know. And that's kind of what we hunt for when we're doing our stuff. We try to go, you know, that's nice and digital, but now we need to mess it up. You know, now we need to undo it, and so we spend a lot of time doing that.
Can you name a couple of like inspirations, maybe old pedals, something that was kind of a guideline for you to say, okay, now I'm going to come up with something that's kind of based on that, but different, like make it yours, make it your own.
Sure. You know, we got a meatball sitting right here, and I'm probably going to have to buy that from you. But no joke, I'm going to have to get that. But that meatball is incredible. I was reading a little bit about it, and I tell you, I got to take some ideas from it. But you asked about a pedal that inspired me, maybe in the digital domain. What's an analog pedal that inspired me to create some of my own new effects? And another envelope filter called the Mutron 3. Right? Those are incredible. What I like about it as a designer is there's a control signal based on your dynamics. So you play louder, softer. There's a circuit that's kind of measuring that, and then this invisible arm comes around and adjusts the filters. And so you get, you know, that bassy vowel sound to a treble sound, wow, wow, based on how hard you're playing. And you can do that in the digital world quite easily. You can just say, measure how hard he's playing, come over there, control this part of the circuit. So we did our Bubbletron is a lot of that. And it's not an envelope filter, but it sounds a little bit like one because it's dynamics based. And so, yeah, those old envelope filters are great. I've taken ideas from analog delay pedals and moved them into even our new compressor. I looked at what's called the emphasis circuit in an analog delay. How do you recover a little bit of the treble? And that's the tone control on our new Compressor Plus. So the big muff, you know, sometimes the op-amp version gets a lot of bad rap, you know, maybe used in 90s whatever music, and not so much the big Russian ones or the old Ram's Head ones or Violet this and that. So we decided to give ourselves a hard task, and we used the op-amp big muff in here, but it doesn't sound like one at all. We grossly changed every stage of the pedal, and kind of proud of it. So I get inspiration from everything that's sitting out there. There's something to learn from everything.
What do you if you look at your line of pedals, which is I mean, it's a widespread. There's lots of different things, beginning from compressors up to to distortion and fuzz. What would you say is the Keeley pedal that you see people doing the most interesting stuff with?
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one because occasionally we've done a strange pedal like the Mesmer. It's a limited run pedal, and it has repeats that are in fifths, and it's got an arpeggiator, and it does some stuff, and that's kind of the weirder stuff that I see people do.
Okay.
I've seen Mike Herman's do some videos where he's coupled the Dark Side and the Monterey, and he has gotten some, might not be weird stuff, but he's done like a complete library of amazing guitar sounds and effects with just a couple pedals. So that's kind of the coolest stuff. On the Caverns, our newest release, they had it on our video. We have it all over a set of keyboards and synths, as well as a harp.
Right.
So and guitar. So, yeah, I mean, it's used in a variety of ways that are fun and musical.
Right. Yeah. So while we're speaking about your line of pedals, we've got some of the more recent ones. I think the Caverns just came out
I think maybe less than 2 months ago.
Less than 2 months ago, and then the Dark Side. So both very interesting pedals. Let's start with the Dark Side. Tell me a little bit about what it does.
On the Dark Side, we've got a fuzz, and then we have what I call a modulation side. The modulation side also has a little bit of a delay. But the core thing is that you get to pair a fuzz sound with some of our digital effects. I like that combination of analog and digital.
Okay.
And I like that David Gilmour can be an inspiration. It's not a pedal designed to make you sound like him at all. It's just he was able to use these effects sometimes in the wrong order, and unless you want to play with patch cables and you have a system in which you can reverse the order of effects, you might not build a pedal board in which you've got a flanger or a phaser just in case before your fuzzes.
Right.
So we wanted to give people that kind of flexibility. We wanted to give people in a small package the syncopated delay that's in here, because you might not run out to get a delay just for that kind of purpose. You're going to get maybe a delay that has much more conventional features.
Right.
So that's what the Dark Side is. It's not to emulate somebody, but it's designed to give you a lot of tools that sound good together.
Okay. So
you want to listen to let's listen to just a little bit of the Univibe first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So since it's called the Dark Side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow.
So there's the Univibe.
Yeah.
Now we can go to the phaser side, which sounds a little bit more familiar, probably.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's exactly
right. And now you can crossfade, and you can create your own blend between phaser and Univibe. So here's something in between.
Well, that sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Fun stuff.
I like it.
We can do the same with a rotary cabinet and a flanger. So here, if we go, this is a rotary. So if you play almost like a keyboard part or something that's, there you go. That's why it sounds good there.
Oh, so wow.
There's the rate. Or we can do a little bit of a flanger now. Oh. Here's the rotary. I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Here's the rotary sound. There you go. Right. Yeah, there you go. Now here's the flanger.
Okay.
There we go. Exactly. Now we can take a look at the fuzz and start to add those effects a little bit there.
Beautiful.
Nice. So if you wanted to add some phaser to that now, I got it set to the right with the switch.
Okay.
To all the way left blended for phaser. And now we can, while you're playing, I'm going to adjust the order so we can see how the fuzz and these modulations work together.
Okay, awesome.
Forward and backwards.
Yep. You can get some really interesting sounds.
So
out of
here's
that.
kind of how I think about it. So if you take a modulation into the fuzz, kind of the reverse order that we're kind of you might
normally
learn about.
using it. Yeah,
right.
right. Yeah.
What happens is the fuzz has a tendency to round off all the edges, take all the harshness off because there's lots of filtering in a fuzz, and it makes it sound smoother. If you go into the fuzz first, then you've got this explosion of high end notes and bass, and then you take it to a modulation effect, and it gets really crazy. So sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I call it like a Hendrix type of sound when we've got a univibe, and it's after the fuzz. Right? As opposed to this.
Oh.
Right? Nice.
That's interesting.
That's
Wow.
fun. So that's the modulation side. We'll turn down the gain a little bit. I think we could look at the delay side. Now the delay is really fun because, yeah, exactly. This is a syncopated delay.
Okay.
You find the tempo that you like, and then you can go and select one of 12 different rhythms.
Okay.
So imagine your repeats are kind of like a drummer.
Yeah.
And he only plays 12 different beats. You
Okay.
know? So here we go. We'll find one.
That's really interesting. I mean that definitely boosts creativity by a lot. I mean you'd. And you can treat it like you can treat it like an original one. Oh,
That's right. So
wow.
you can put an expression pedal in there, and you can control the amount of repeats with your foot. So sometimes it gets a little confusing when there's multiple repeats of a syncopated delay,
Right,
and you got
right.
these. Once they start falling on top of each other, it can
Right.
get a little clouded. So you can, with your foot controller, you can then reduce the amount of repeats to clear it
Okay.
out. And then same goes for like the rotary sound. So if you want to change the speed of the horn, you can just use your foot controller.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. The Caverns is a complete different thing. So as far as I understood it, you have a delay, you have a reverb, but there's lots of things you can mess with.
Sure. So on the delay side, we took our most popular delay, which was the magnetic echo. That's a tape type delay thing, but not like this tape delay. This conventional repeats.
Okay.
You know, you set the time, you set the regeneration.
Yeah.
What we did on this one is we gave players 2 different levels of modulation they could choose from, or they could turn it off. So here, we'll hear it straight up, and there you go.
Oh, it has this wobbly kind of...
I added a little bit of modulation into it. Yep. So you can do some fun stuff with that.
Okay.
The next side is the reverb side, and we've got a spring, we've got a modulated, and we've got a shimmer. So with each of those, the rate control controls that additional feature. So in the case of the spring, it's a tremolo. In the case of the modulation, it's the amount of chorus.
Okay.
And the shimmer, it's the amount of those octaves.
All right.
So we can take a look at that. I'm going to start with the spring and no tremolo.
Okay.
A little slap back.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Let's hear the slap back.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So we can take shimmer. Now remember, our shimmer has got this warmth control, so we can kind of tame down the response of the octaves, and the rate control controls the amount of shimmer. So here's a kind of an exaggerated setting on the warm side.
Okay. The spheres.
Oh yeah. So now we can start to add the syncopated delays.
Peaks here.
Yeah, I love it. That's great.
Absolutely.
So you get an idea. So you can combine these things and get some really crazy sounds. We'll do something with some deep modulation.
and just let
Fun.
it go on.
Yeah, just let it play.
That's incredible.
It's fun.
Yeah, it is.
So it's got true bypass and trails. So if we had it in the trails mode, I think we might be able to do it here because it's true bypass. Wait. Yeah.
We can.
It doesn't cut off your signal.
Awesome.
So
Cool. Well, Robert, thank you so much for your time and like going into all these little topics, and of course for demonstrating and explaining a little bit the pedals. So yeah, that's it
All
from
right.
us at
Thanks.
GuitCon 2017. Make sure to check out Keeley Electronics on Facebook and obviously on the web.
Yep.
And yeah, see you guys soon.
thank you.